Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel Xplosive Mahmood, and today I'll be talking about my thoughts on the Newcastle takeover. I'll be breaking this up into three parts, which will be the actual takeover, the transfers and the vision. So let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about is the actual takeover. So as we all know, Newcastle, they've been under the owner of Mike Ashley, and right now he hasn't put much money in the club. He's been taking money, but some of it has been going into the club. It's not, if you think of Arsenal's Dan Kroenke, he just takes all that money, doesn't pump none of it in the club. Mike Ashley, he does pump some of it in the club, so that's good in that regard. But Newcastle United fans, they do want to at least have some chance of top 7 Europa League qualification, or at least 6th place Europa League, and they do want to be signing good signings. So there's this club, Newcastle, and they had Mike Ashley as their owner. Now, this club, Newcastle, they're going to have the Saudi Arabia. There's some investment in Saudi Arabia. They want to spend 300 million, and it looks close to being completed to take over Newcastle. What they want to do is they want to get them back to their heights they were before, and get them back to new heights, like winning the Champions League, or regularly getting in the Champions League and winning the Premier League. And they also want to change the wage structure, sign big players. They've got a lot they want to do. But rumours has it that one big person has sent, I'm not too sure of the name, but one big person has sent, that was investigating this Saudi group, have sent a letter to the Premier League stating that this Saudi group, they get their money from all across the world, from all different businesses and investments, but they're forging their money, and they're the way they're getting their money is not proper. So the Premier League are still investigating in that, but it looks likely to be completed. And right now, it could be very good for Newcastle to get back to their heights. But the next thing I'm going to talk about is the transfers, and the first thing I'm going to talk about is the first transfer they're linked to is Gareth Bale. Gareth Bale will slot nicely on that right wing for Newcastle, while Saint-Maximin can operate on the left. They do rely on Saint-Maximin to create something out of nothing, and they're relying on him a bit too much. His pace, his dribbling, create something out of nothing, his goals, his assists, he's a youngster that can improve. They're relying on him a bit too much. So I think Gareth Bale would help with goals, assists, creativity. But if we really look at it, I've got things written down here. If we really look at it, this season, in 19/20, Bale's made 18 appearances in all competition. He's got 4 goal involvements, 2 goals, 2 assists. That's not great for a guy that's going to be coming to the Premier League and is on 600k wages. In last season, 18/19, Bale made 36 appearances in all competitions. He got 11 goals, 5 assists. So let's say that Bale doubles that, makes about another 36 appearances this season. 18 more than last season. 18 more than he already has. That means he would have 36 appearances this season, 36 appearances last season. If we double that and he gets another 2 goals and another 2 assists, that means he would have had 4 goals, 4 assists, meaning 8 goal involvements. That's not nearly the same as 19/20, where he's got 16 goal involvements, 11 goals, 5 assists. So he's clearly on the decline. And as well as that comes his big wages. His 600k wages. This clearly shows that they would have to change their whole wage structure just to accompany Bale, meaning that everyone else that comes in would want big wages, because Newcastle aren't in the Champions League. But to buy it into this vision that they're going to get back into the Champions League or Europa League, and they're going to be winning, challenging to win the Prem, to get to those levels, you have to convince these players to at least come. And in their peak careers, all these players are linked to, they are in their peak careers. So you have to immediately make an impact and immediately do stuff in the next season or 2. And big wages is the only way you can convince them. You can convince them with your vision, but big wages is the way to only convince them. And Bale 600k wages is going to change the whole wage structure, which I don't think is good. They should slowly be building up to that. They should be buying, like, their highest is like 120k, something like that. I think it's Joe Linton. So they should slowly be building to 200k wages. Then someone that comes in around 200k wages, and another player that comes in around 200k wages. Then someone breaks it, goes to 400k, and then slowly build up to like a Bale that's at like 600k. And another player they're linked to is James Rodriguez. James Rodriguez in Real Madrid, they bought him, he was doing really well. Then slowly he started getting out of favour over the seasons and getting less goal involvements because he was playing less, and they weren't utilising him in his right attacking creative position. So he went on loan 2 years at Bayern Munich. In those 2 years he made 43 appearances, 14 goals in all competitions, 14 assists. That clearly shows that he got 28. He got 28 goal involvements in 43 appearances. That shows that he clearly is getting goals, assists, and the assists come from creating for other players, and he can create for other players with 14 assists, and he can occasionally shoot a goal with 14 goals. So that clearly shows that Real Madrid weren't getting the best out of him like Bayern did. But if you see this season, like at Bayern Munich, before he moved to Real Madrid, at Bayern Munich he was getting 87 pass success rate, 87%. That's a huge percentage. He's doing a lot of passing, a lot of creativity, taking a lot of shots. At Bayern, he was taking 18 shots per game, an average of 18 shots per game. That's crazy. And if you think of Real Madrid, he's made this season, after his 2-year loan, he's came back to Real Madrid this season, 19/20. He's made 15 appearances in all competitions and only has 1 goal, 1 assist. According to Who Scored, he has 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 goal involvements in 15 appearances. They ain't utilising him in the right positions, and he ain't even playing enough for them to do that. Like, if we check his stats, he's taking 1.1 shots per game. That's quite good. He's also taking pass accuracy is 83%. That's a decline by 4% from his Bayern Munich days, but he's still passing the ball around quite a bit. He's still creating quite a bit, and he will get involved in the goal involvements, but if he gets utilised in that creative way. I think for Newcastle, I think this is a very good transfer. It will cost £30 million. He's 28 years old. His wages are 200k. So yes, he'll provide them creativity. Yes, he'll get them goals and assists. And yes, he'll be a big name player like they want. But he's 28 years old. When he joins, he'll be around 29 years old. So they have to, in the next season, Newcastle basically have to give him 200k wages to convince him. And in the next season, they have to basically get back into the Europa League or Champions League. And I don't think they can do that all in one season. They have to break it down in steps. Because other players they're linked to, like Rabiot, he's got offers from like Man U and Arsenal. They're interested in him. And at Juventus, it hasn't gone too well for him anyway. We've got James Rodriguez, Everton and AC Milan also interested in him, as well as Man U and Arsenal. You've got Koulibaly, who they're interested in, who's making up to like 3 interceptions a game, up to 5 tackles a game, and he's 28 years old on 150k wages. So he's on big wages. He's 28 going 29 now, so he's quite old at his peak career. He's still getting lots of interceptions and tackles, huge interception and tackles, and I would love him at Arsenal. He'd cost £80 million, so big. But Newcastle can afford that. But the wages are the one problem, and his age is another problem. He has to make an immediate impact, and I think in the Prem he can make that immediate impact, but Newcastle won't make that immediate impact. They won't go to the Champions League and stuff like that. So I think all these players they're linked with, I personally think they should go after, they're looking for a winger. You've got Irving Lozano. He'll cost like 30-40 mil, but his wages won't be as high. And if you get a good coach like Pochettino or Allegri, or you get like Marcelino or like a good coach like that, maybe like Irving Lozano could do well on the wing. He could get lots of goal involvement and a lot of creativity. Other players I think that they could go after, you could got Dennis Zakaria. If Dennis Zakaria is playing for Mönchengladbach and they're having a really good season, and they could look like they could be in the Europa League or Champions League next season, and he's getting good high interception and tackle numbers, like around 2, 3, maybe even 4 interception and tackles. And you could say it's the Bundesliga, but the Bundesliga is actually getting competitive as of recent. So I feel like him next to John Shelby, who's doing all the creativity from deep. The Longstaff brothers, Sean Longstaff and Matthew Longstaff, they ain't creating enough. They ain't really getting involved and doing big numbers. So I think Dennis Zakaria and John Shelby could be a really good partnership. You've also got looking for a striker. Then I feel like stick with Joe Linton, because Mike Ashley spent £20 million of his own money, and then other 20 mil came from sales. And add that together, £40 million. Mike Ashley wanted Joe Linton. Steve Bruce never. He just accepted him as another player and another striker to get goals. And I feel like he's a good striker, but he needs players around him to provide for him, and they need to get the right squad. Like if they're looking for a centre back, you've got Nathan Akai, you've got Soyuncu. If they're looking for like a midfielder, Dennis Zakaria. I feel like Almiron at number 10, he could be fine. But then you have the right manager. If you have the right manager, he could get huge goal involvements and creativity numbers. But it's all in due good course. I think I personally think that Newcastle, as good as they are, or as good as they will become. Sorry guys, my nose is a bit blocked, but let's continue. We're still at it. Let's continue. Where was I? Yeah. As good as Newcastle will become, they should slowly build that with the players I just mentioned. Slowly building their wage structure, slowly building the paying for players, and getting mediocre players or players that are starting to establish themselves. I think it could be really good for Newcastle to slowly build, but I don't think they're going to do that, and they could ruin this takeover and ruin what they're trying to build. And the last one is their vision. Their vision is to get back into the big time, get into the Champions League and at least challenge for the title. I think doing all of that in your first 2 seasons may not be possible. I think first of all they need to look at hiring the right coach. That could be Pochettino, Allegri, Marcelino, Julian Nagelsmann. You've got many good coaches out there. I think they should look at finding like the right coach for them. If they want to play great attacking football, then look at hiring the right coach for them, and then worry about getting these type of transfers like Javier Lozano, Dennis Zakaria and people like that, instead of rushing and keeping Steve Bruce or going for like, I don't know, Pochettino and then getting like Bale, Amiz, Koulibaly, getting all these big players that you're paying big wages to, and you might not even challenge for the Premier League or even get back into the Europa League or Champions League. So their vision is to change the wage structure and is to challenge for all these, but they slowly need to do this, and we'll see over due good time if this takeover happens. And if it does happen, will they think smart in the way they build this squad and slowly improve those players, or will they just use their money and just force their way back into the big time by using all these big wages? Because now the market is going to reset and it is going to bring down player prices massively. Like players worth 150 mil may now be worth 70 mil. You have rumours that no one was able to get Newcastle, the 24-year-old, the 25-year-old centre midfielder, the box-to-box midfielder. Huge goal involvement, huge creative numbers, huge defensive numbers, a really good world-class midfielder. And his buyout clause is £130 million. But this summer, it looks like Newcastle, it looks like Man U are close to getting him for around £70 million. So that could be really good as a Pogba replacement. And he's only going to cost half his buyback clause. As you know, with Atletico Madrid players, you have to pay the buyback clause. Otherwise, Atletico Madrid won't really give you their players. And Newcastle, going for any player this summer could be really good as the market's resetting, players' values coming down. But I don't think they should rush it. So thank you for watching. Those are my thoughts on the Newcastle takeover. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button, hit the post notifications, and peace.